Gurave Namaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Narancheva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Ruttama-shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 11, Chapter 1 and verse 9. Before that, I offer my obeisances to all the devotees. Thank you for being here and for this opportunity. Thank you, Anand Bihari Prabhu. And I do see.
Gaur Sharan, you are
Yes.
empowered by Krishna Daya and Adokshaja. They were supposed to give class today and they're here.
I didn't want to put Prabhu on the spot. I almost was saying it. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. This is Canto 11, Chapter 1 and verse 9. Verse Yannimittaha Savaishapo Yadrusho Dvijasattama Katam Yekatmanam Vedam Yetat Sarvam Vadasvame. Translation and purport by the disciples of Srila Prabhupada. To all of them. And Srila Prabhupada translation. King Parikshit continued inquiring, what was the motive for this curse? What did it consist of, O purest of the twice born, and how could such a disagreement have arisen among the others who all shared the same goal of life? Please tell me all these things. Purport. Ekatmanam means that the Yadus all shared the same opinion, namely that Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, was the goal of their life. Therefore, Parikshit Maharaj could not see any obvious reason for such a destructive quarrel among the members of the Yadu dynasty, and he was anxious to know the actual cause. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamshyam Shri Rupam Sagar Jatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalitan Shri Vishakan Vitamshyam He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Shri Gurum Denatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanameshwaram. Thank you everyone. Begging all of your blessings, Adi Purush Prabhu, Arjuna Prabhu, and everyone, so that I could share something from these pages of the Bhagavatam that is pleasing to Sri Sridhar Gaur Chandran, Narsingadevan, Srila Prabhupada, and also purifying and inspiring to all of us. Reading the translation again. This is Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 11, verse 1 and chapter 9. This is King Parikshit speaking. What was the motive for this curse? What did it consist of, O purest of the twice born? And how could such a disagreement have arisen among the others who all shared the same goal of life? Please tell me all these things. So here in the verse, Shukadeva Goswami is using one important word, ekatmanam and beda. Since they are all ekatmanam of those who shared the same soul, Sri Krishna, then bedaha means the disagreement. Katham, how was how was it possible that there is a disagreement when they all had a common goal? So that's the word that the purport is throwing light upon and trying to expand on. So pretty much on the same theme, we'll also continue to discuss that how pride blocks cooperation. Because here Parshad Maharaj is wondering how could those who are ekatmana, one in soul and goal, fight each other? And we see also Parshad Maharaj was also a very in an interesting situation. He is also personally cursed by a Brahmana, and he is accepting it. He is not counteracting it. In this case, we will see that the princes, they will also try their best to counteract. They think they have counteracted, but still the curse comes to act. So he's also uh, very curious, like how come, like they even were cursed, and how did it actually take effect? Because they were all so Krishna centered, and why would they fight among each other? We see that pride is uh, pride is usually it's not the confidence, it's rather actually forgetfulness of a dependence on Krishna. For example, if we see life of Srila Prabhupada, he was very confident. He was very confident, and he was very clear what needs to be done. In specific cases, like when there was a problem with building the Juhu temple, Prabhupada was not backing down. He was completely clear what needs to be done and how it needs to be done, and come what may, what is the goal that he wants to achieve. He was completely confident and clear, and and that confidence is surely not pride, because he had complete remembrance and dependence, uh, remembrance of his dependence on Krishna, and the motive why he was doing is also very clear, that he is doing this for the pleasure of Krishna, because to say it is one thing, but to live it is another thing. So pride is not just confidence, which is plenty in these ages. People may be confident about anything that they're doing. So that alone doesn't count as pride. Pride is basically forgetfulness of one's dependence on Krishna, on the goodwill of and the mercy of others. To the extent we forget how much we are made up of the mercy of Krishna and his devotees, especially speaking about devotees, that we assume uh, naturally a non-dependent role, and that leads to pride. And in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explains that any particular action to happen, there are five causes. So when he says this concept that we are not the doer, it does not mean that we absolutely have no credit, or are not at all like uh, part of making something happen. We are not a complete non-doer. In that case, we would not be affected by reactions. So when Krishna says you are not the doer, Essentially, what he means is you are not the only doer. And there are other things that play comes into picture. And anyone who forgets those other factors, they are the ones who become, who naturally are proud and also will be affected by the reactions for their actions. So this is a verse in the chapter 18 of the Bhagavad Gita, verse 14. Adishtanam tata karta karanam cha pratak vidam vividascha pratak cheshta daivam chaivatra panchama. The place of action, the body, the performer, the various senses, the many different kinds of endeavor, and ultimately the super soul. These are the five factors of action. Purport: the word adhishtanam refers to the body. Okay, I wasn't going to read the purport. Basically, the five factors that Krishna is listing in this verse is body itself. That in order for us to do something, we need this help of the physical instrument. When we are diseased, when we are limited in our bodily abilities, sometimes we cannot do it. We would like to do some service. If you are someone with a back pain, or if someone with a knee pain, if you're unable to walk, or if you're unable to sit or climb, then we may have to let go of those things. We won't be able to do. The desire can be there in the heart, but the body is required to perform some actions. And the performer, the soul itself, like, is desiring. We may have everything aligned, but if we don't have a desire to perform something, then also it would not happen. Then we need the various senses. Overall body is there. However, the particular action, like, say for example, everything might be okay with my body, but if my voice is blocked, I won't be able to speak. So the particular senses is also required for the sake of, if I was a person who is a mute, then also I won't be able to do certain actions. So particular senses with particular capability is also required, and many different kinds of endeavor that we need to make. Say for example, I need to connect on Zoom, I need to have a Wi-Fi, I need to have an internet, I need to have a Zoom app installed in my thing, I need to own a laptop, connect with it, and then know the details of the class, and have a phone, have a communication. So a lot more endeavors, and of course ultimately the super soul. Despite all of these things, I could blank out or not get the inspiration to share what I want to share. I may feel like completely lost despite having some preparation sometimes. So ultimately, the super soul. So all these factors have to come together to make something happen. Sometimes we plan, sometimes we don't even plan for many things, and when that happens, then we cannot actually forget that how much we are dependent on various factors, uh, apart from Krishna. Also Krishna's energy, so many other aspects, everything is provided by Krishna. So how much we are dependent, the moment a person forgets that, then that itself is a background for developing pride. Initially it may just feel like forgetfulness, it's not a big deal. However, that's what eventually turns into a full blown pride. And we see that in the case of, classically, in the Shastras, usually they use the characters to also teach people forever to come. And we can see that we are in the month of Kartik, and Govardhan Puja will be there very soon. And Indra is someone who also represented this principle, that he actually forgot. He forgot that he was doing his duty as king of the heaven, being the god of rains, on behalf and accepting all the Vedic sacrifices, the yagyas, and all the ablutions that was offered to him on behalf of Krishna. The moment he actually forgot that he is an agent working on behalf of Krishna, when he forgot his connection with Krishna and his duty to Krishna and his dependence on Krishna, when he thought he is independent, that moment, it is a gradual feeling. In this world, we start doing anything, we can develop that feeling very quickly. In a very unseen way, we can start thinking, this area of life, I do this. I'm not dependent on anything or anyone. or like Krishna is not uh, very much in the forefront of the consciousness, there can be certain actions in our life. If you're an artist, if you're singing, while singing, you might think you may dedicate it overall to Krishna, but it's very possible that the skill can overwhelm. If you're a pujari who's very good in artistry, uh, while making a turban, it could be very hard to remember that the skill is coming from Krishna also. Uh, so the moment that forgetfulness is there, then it's very easy. And Indra, he got completely overwhelmed, and he sent storms on the devotees. Imagine like attacking Vrindavan when the Supreme Lord is doing his pastimes with all his associates, attacking not just one, because there were various demons like Putana, Agasur. Not Agasur at least tried to kill a lot of them, but Putana or like Trinavarta, they were very focused on Krishna. And even Agasur, he was just attacking the cowherd boys in order to pretty much trap Krishna inside. That is the main goal. But here he was he completely lost it. No, he was not just trying to attack Krishna. He tried to just completely wipe everything and everyone in Vrindavan. Such a blatant attack on Vrindavan. No one else has done. Not even the demons have done. It's only a devotee, a demigod, who actually is usually counted as a hero in the Rig Veda and the primary Vedic scriptures, who's usually considered as the leader of all the demigods, king of the demigods. He actually attempts this. And that is why the more one forgets actually one's dependence on Krishna and develops pride, then those very individuals can become huge roadblocks or huge headaches to the very spiritual movement that actually nourished and developed them or helped them actually develop both in bhakti, or in their managerial powers. And when the center gradually shifts from Krishna to the self, then my service becomes my achievement. So it's a very subtle thing. It gradually happens. However, the effect of it is will be seen very much in the actions one does, in the effect one has. And Srila Prabhupada said, the outside forces cannot actually stop the Krishna conscious movement. He said, whenever there is an attack from the outside, it would actually strengthen the movement. Eventually, it would leave the movement more strengthened. It would bring people together. It would actually make the spirit very stronger among the devotees when there is an external challenge. However, when among the devotees we fight, then we become extremely weak because we lose um, hope. When there is actually politics among devotees, when there is fight among devotees, then the mood becomes very bitter, and there are the trust that is usually there in a good association, the affection that is there, the trust especially that is there in one another. For the newer people, there is a trust that the people who have practiced for a long time, when they actually exemplify certain characters, then it actually reinforces the faith in the process for newcomers. And for those who have been practicing for a while, for them also, when they see their peers develop better qualities, it inspires them also to be better, and also develops respect for one's peers, and what to speak of seniors. So when we see that even on a higher level, there is actually pride, and not just pride, and there is damage that they actively do because of that pride, because the attitude moves from my service or my community or my spiritual master, or from there the mood actually becomes my achievement and my glory, or like my power. Then, as soon as one thinks that way, then Maya takes over. One forgets one's dependence on Krishna, and naturally, it's no more confidence. It is plain pride. Pride. I'm to forget that I'm a servant. I'm not the master, or we are instruments, not just the owners. And me, along with my success, along with my endeavors, along with my ideas, uh, along with my skills, I completely belong to Krishna. The more it is very easy to say, it is very hard to practice for a conditioned soul, because as the Bhagavad Gita says, Prakrite kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvashaha ahankara vimudatma kartaham iti manyate. The reason we are focusing on this concept of pride is because the reason in the future you will see that why did the Yadus get cursed, and not just get cursed, but they fought among themselves and they died. This whole reason is also the pride of some of them and how it plays out. And usually pride also leads to disrespect of others, and and you will see in the future verses, I'm very sure the other speakers will also throw light more on the very details of it, and also on the principle behind it. So pride is the theme that we are focusing here. We can see that pride is usually the enemy of teamwork or cooperation. Prabhupada said, if you want to show me your love, you cooperate amongst each other. And the pride is a very uh, strong enemy to cooperation. We see in various scriptures, real life, uh, within the devotee association, outside the devotee association, wherever there is pride, it is impossible to cooperate. We can see in families, we can see in our own lives how whenever we become very proud, then we just cannot cooperate. And Vali and Sugriva is also a very good example. Vali was very stronger, more skilled, even more admired, and his brother was also subservient to him. However, due to various circumstances, there was misunderstanding. That misunderstanding could have been resolved, but Vali was also very proud. It completely made him deaf to any reason that or any explanation that was being given, and he was hurt, and he had his reason to actually uh, feel hurt. So we all can have our reasons to feel hurt, or unheard, or unsupported. However, when that becomes the identity, when that becomes the primary absorption, when we close ourselves for anybody else to explain what happened in a different way, is just, if that is just impossible, then that's what is called as pride. And Wali's pride made him completely deaf to any other explanation. He had an understanding how everything went, and that's all he wanted to uh, believe. He could not see there could be another side of what happened. And we see it in families, we see it in organizations, we see it in politics, we see it everywhere in the world, that how something unfolded, two people have two versions of the story, and each one is uh, completely sure that whatever happened is how they see it or experienced it, and there cannot be anything other than that. Time and again I had to remind myself how my perspective can be actually very small. It's so hard. It makes so much common sense when you are giving a Bhagavatam class, and when you are on the speaker's uh, position, and to make a point, it just feels like, oh, it's such a natural thing, that my perspective is limited and might not be the complete perspective. However, pride is something which even stops that common sense, blocks that common sense. So becomes, my perspective becomes everything. So he saw Sugriva as a threat. not as a brother, uh, not as a someone who would support him in his things. So he could not cooperate, not just cooperate, started actually behaving in ways which is unacceptable. And eventually, Wally was neutralized by Lord Ram himself, because a proud heart is a sealed heart. Even Krishna must wait outside. There is no place for Krishna in a proud heart. So usually we see that how wherever there is pride, it turns a dialogue into a deadlock. There's there cannot nothing can actually proceed. It's like no one can actually make way into a conversation, into that, and bring up a conversation. It becomes a deadlock. So then things actually start deteriorating. And here we will see in the future how the Yadus, because of their pride, the whole dynasty actually gets cursed, and they kill among they meet a very different kind of an end. And here we see the scriptures in multiple lenses. We see how this is Krishna's will, and we also can see what we can learn from this. So today's perspective is primarily from that perspective, that how we can see, look at it, and learn something from this for our personal life. And there are multiple reasons and multiple ways to look at the scriptural pastimes, instances, people, the personalities that we read about. There are many ways to analyze them. One of the very important ways to is also to see, okay, what can I learn from this particular episode, especially when we are just laser focused on one single verse, without taking it out of the context. At the same time, seeing what we can actually take inspiration from this verse is also as an important thing. That how, despite being very closely connected to Krishna, that is the main point, despite being extremely closely connected to Krishna, that these individuals are overcome by pride, and and that led to disrespect, and that disrespect actually led to their destruction eventually. So that's what we are trying to see, what kind of a pattern is in my consciousness, that where and when pride is leading to breaking down of communication, a breakdown of a dialogue, a breakdown of understanding the other person's perspective, and a complete breakdown of respect and etiquette, and that leads to can actually be one's undoing. All one with all one's skill, with all one's abilities, talents, and charisma, one goes to hell with their talent and everything when they are very proud. And we see time and again in the Bhagavatam, in Mahabharata and Ramayana, that it is usually the most proud. Of course, a beggar also could be proud of their, means they say it does not take, actually pride is something which does not need anything to be proud. Even a person without any skill or qualification can still be proud. That's the beauty of pride. But still, these scriptures, time and again, they prove that how even great religious people, great people who are treading a spiritual path, still, when there is pride, they can run into trouble. And it could be very relevant, because we are all in our own way trying to walk a spiritual path, and to be conscious that the more I forget my dependence on Krishna and his devotees, that forgetfulness can be uh, fatal in one's spiritual life. So the disease that is actually affecting the yadus is pride, and we will see then how it what it leads to eventually in the coming verses. And I know it's 7:47. I'm open for other thoughts, anything to share. Yeah, Min, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
A great class. You sound very sick. I hope you feel better soon. And thank you for class. I just wanted to ask, we heard a lot about pride and the problems that come with that. If you could speak a little bit about the the origin or the source of that pride, like what causes pride within ourselves, because at times the pride I see in myself can be so subtle, and sometimes I'm not really sure where it even surfaced from. So if you could speak a little bit about where the pride comes from. Thank you.
I think the root cause of pride is forgetfulness of Krishna. Jiva Goswami says the qualification of a devotee is to always see that they belong to Krishna. It is very easy to give to Krishna what we have or what we think as we have. But what Krishna is interested is we ourselves. He is not interested in our offerings. He is interested in us. So when as devotees, we think whatever I'm offering, because of that, I'm great. So it is a very counterintuitive thing. Why am I even offering if I was actually great and if those things actually belong to me? There was no reason. If I was a great person, there was no need for me to offer to someone else. The very reason I'm offering to Krishna is that there is some understanding that I am dependent and Krishna is the master, I'm servant. However, it is because of lifetimes of ignorance and very deep ingrained false ego. We have the disease of seeing or having a separate identity from Krishna, identity that is separate from being a servant of Krishna. We are very deeply rooted in so many different identities. I'm so and so, I'm this, I'm that. It's a very, for worldly practicalities, we justify that it is very important for us to have those identities in order to actually sustain and survive in this world. However, those very things can grow in a very subtle way to make us also forget that the essential identity, the unchanging identity, is one as a servant of Krishna. And because we forget that, everything else is just a detail then.
Did I hear you correctly? Did you say that Krishna is not necessarily interested in our offerings, but in us? Is that what you?
At least in one sense, yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
Mm.
Because a lot of pride comes from the soul has nothing to be proud of in one sense. It does not own anything as such. The material energy comes from the Supreme Lord. The skills, the abilities we have. Usually pride in this world is connected to one of some of these things which is external to the soul. Usually it's the skills, it's the money that one possesses, or yeah, what they can make do with the material energy, how they can actually influence and manipulate people or things in this world. That's where usually pride comes from. And that is a very subtle idea that Krishna is interested in my offerings, or I can impress Krishna with my offerings. Krishna is usually not impressed. That is the whole purpose of Govardhan Puja also. Krishna is saying, no, you don't need to do these big sacrifices. Make this offering to Govardhan. Thank you. I do see Ishwari's hand and then Bhima Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, and thank you for class. My question hopefully is simple. Maybe more it's clarification. Healthy pride and unhealthy pride. Is that such a thing? Which I do believe it is. But I wanted you to maybe explain it more in the spiritual way, because I mean, in school, at work, even with the temple, I want to take pride in what I do, because or take pride in what somebody else is doing. I see somebody do something really beautiful. It could be a service, it could be something simple, and I take pride in it. I'm like, wow, it's a satisfaction, not an arrogance, in other words. So I just wanted to, if you can clarify spiritually, is it okay to have healthy pride as opposed to unhealthy arrogance, pride?
Means every community has connotations towards like pride in general. In the devotee community has a very what do you call a strong or a negative connotation.
You get right to it. It's all about the culture you're in. What does pride mean? I mean, religious culture
Why is it going?
I'm sorry, sorry.
I thought he was answering the question for you.
Yeah, I was also
I'm
thinking.
sorry. I was talking to my wife, and
Okay.
the mute was off. Go on, Prabhu. Let someone with knowledge speak.
No, we're very happy to hear. If you want to continue.
I was kind of laughed to myself when you said Krishna is usually not impressed. That's classic, because when Brahma and the demigods came to worship Krishna, he was bored, and then the cowherd boys made fun, when they saw it, but then they made fun of the demigods and all their elaborate worship. Like, look at these jeweled chamras, look at these diamond encrusted incense holders, etc., etc. And the kids, came back into town, into Goloka, with in like a parade, waving all these instruments of worship, great opulence, like a manifestation of our pride, even in worship. And how you said, which is the most important thing, is that Krishna wants us. And when does he want us? Now. And are we purified? Are we actually an offering, like Boga? Yeah, we are. We're like Boga. And it's Krishna that makes us special. Krishna that gives us the pride that it's like the pride you get when you wake up in the morning and you realize the disturbing dream that you were having is over. And I'm so happy to be awake. That's about as prideful as you can get. And that the offering of ourselves should be now, should be in the present tense, not when we think we've become purified or opulent enough or done enough service or committed enough austerity, but right now, with all our foibles, with all our faults, with all our vices, with all our imbalances, we offer ourselves, because after all, and this is the coming in the idea of how do we understand what pride is, we got to realize that change, like a larva, a pupa in the cocoon, that change happens by the nature of association and the nature of remembering Krishna at all times. It actually happens because of that, not because of our own will. It does happen because of our will, but it not through our own endeavor. That it's actually being done within us by virtue of grace. Hare Krishna.
Uh, thank you for sharing, Pro. The aspect of offering and what Krishna is interested. And I also liked how you said we don't need to wait to become something to offer. We begin with offering ourselves to Krishna wherever we are. And one thing, if I can add to Ishwari, is that the psychology, like for me to just analyze if I am being egoistic or I'm having a healthy pride, as you say, though the words do have a connotation, there could be a healthy confidence. And we see that Prabhupada in many pictures, his head is held very high. He is very confident. You never see him like kind of fumbling or like being apologetic. No, he held his head very high. And Hanuman was very strong personality. When he actually goes to Ravana, he doesn't offer him a seat. Then he uses his tail to actually make a seat higher than Ravana, and he sits there and he speaks down to Ravana. And it incites him. That's when he actually lights his tail with fire. So it's not a devotee is that is a healthy pride because it is coming from a place of gratitude. In my heart, if I can see, this is what comes to my mind, that gratitude is something which is very categorically, which differentiates an unhealthy pride from a healthy pride. And because when there is gratitude, when something happens in my life, I'm like grateful that Krishna made this happen through even through me. Like I know all with all my deficiencies, Krishna used me as an inspiration or instrument to actually make this happen. So that actually brings me closer to Krishna. My remembrance of Krishna is increased. My remembrance of my spiritual teachers and other devotees, my dependence on them is increased. Rather, pride actually leads to forgetfulness of Krishna. I'm just like completely reveling in how great I am because I could do this. So the confidence and the joy is for sure is, it's not the devotees should never have confidence or joy. We are not supposed to be insecure all the time, or nor are we supposed to be arrogant. Basically, a healthy pride is rooted in gratitude, inspires service, and feels I'm entrusted with this by Krishna. So let me do it for his. And I'm very grateful he has allowed me to do this. And another very simple thing is healthy pride usually fuels teamwork, but unhealthy pride usually breaks cooperation. So these are some parameters to gauge for oneself how much actually am I grateful for after doing the service, or for the service, or the effect of the service is having on me, how much grateful I am, how much I feel closer to Krishna, how much in my heart the love for Krishna is swelling in my heart and also inspiring me to more to serve. So that kind of a confidence is another level of confidence. That is what inspired Prabhupada to take the risks he took. He was grateful. He was confident. He was proud. There's one place I remember Prabhupada saying, we have every reason to be proud because we are servants of Krishna. So in that situation of being a servant or the servant of Krishna, one can actually have the pride. It's not wrong, but it comes from a place of gratitude. It swells one heart with so much emotions that you want to offer yourself progressively more to Krishna. It softens your heart. It makes you
So,
more humble.
yeah, that great answer. Thank you. So pride, healthy pride would be pride outward, where unhealthy pride would be pride inward, meaning it's just about you, where pride, healthy pride would be, in other words, like you said, it's a team thing. So it's like, pride in your work, pride in your schoolwork. It's like, it's going outward. It's not just staying in and it's all about me and ha ha ha. So perfect. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
One thing I would say is that it's kind of a deficiency in the English language where these words don't have a clear negative meaning or positive meaning. Like we use the word love because I love God and I love my pizza and I love my car. It's a very ambiguous word. It doesn't have a very clear, strong definition. And so you find the words for pride in Sanskrit, like Dumbo or it's like very clearly negative forms of conceit and not seeing that dependence, that seeing oneself as the prime mover.
Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Lotus feet of our spiritual master in way of emotional service. Bow down to lotus feet of this grace one to cross over to suffering. Thank the earnestness of Krishna. By all the emotions that my consciousness purified, by the word emanating from his lotus mind. Attachment to the lotus feet, attachment, it will build all desires. He opens my heart and eyes and fills my heart with sense and whatnot. He is my Lord, my God, the Word. From whom ecstatic prayer emanates by heaven under being. That is the just thing of paradise. Our spiritual master, the ocean mercy, friend number one, order master. All master, we mercy for give it the shade of the lotus feet. Your fame is spread over the three worlds. Shelter with speech. Jai.
Jai Srila Prabhupada, Jai Shri Arjuna Prabhu. Welcome to the Afterglow. Is Gaur Sharan Prabhu here? In his absence, Adipusha Prabhu and Bhima Prabhu will be answering questions. Does anyone have a question? There's a wonderful discussion on pride. Narottam Nitai Prabhu has his hand up.
Dandavats. One day, it's me and my devotee friends usually say it's not so much our focus should not be how many times we fall down or fall behind, so to speak, in Krishna consciousness. It's how many times we get back up and come back to Krishna consciousness. That's you always we can especially in the beginning we can go back and forth, one foot in the material boat, one foot in the devotional boat, so to speak. And We can go back and forth a lot. But then, the shift, when the shift happened, it's, we pick ourselves back up and keep going. Like initially, when I started going to the temple, it was my Sundays. That changed, the outlook of my whole week with the Gaur Arti and Kirtan and everything. And now it's every day, every day in the morning, and able to chant and able to do Arti. And now my parents are initiated, so now it's like the whole family's atmosphere is there. So yeah, it's that. And then the other thing I wanted to say was, um, it's to always remember Krishna, not to forget him. I know devotees say that, and 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 to always be eager for service. If we're chanting in the temple and we get service from devotees at the temple, then we should eagerly accept it, especially if we can do that service, because that's what we're chanting for. And doing service with other devotees helps us bridge the gap between our, personalities and our relationships. It really helps to bond us together. That's my 2 cents. Gauranga.
Thank you, Narottam Nitai Prabhu. There's one devotee in Boston area. His name is Chaitanya Mangala. He once remarked how he had one foot on a banana peel and the other foot in the grave. That describes our situation here in the material world. Nityananda Chandra Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna Ram. So I looked up, so you have this famous verse, I think it's the verse 2 or 4. It's in the divine and demonic qualities, Dambo, Dharpo, Bhimanascha. So Damba, the word is used pride. Darpa, the word is used arrogance. And Bhiman means like kind of egotism. And then, but if
Bhiman means egotism?
Abhiman. So
Abhimam.
Yeah.
Without Bhima.
Without
very close. Very close.
Now, if you look,
don't try it, Ananda Bihari. Just don't try it.
If you look up the definition, the Sanskrit definition for Dambo, it's not. It means a pretentiousness that one puts on a show so they can gain a type of prestige. That's Dumbo. And DARPA is this inner sense of importance. And Abhiman is you could say like ahankar, just a false sense of ego. So Dumbo, pretentiousness, there's no like, let's have some good pretentiousness. And DARPA means inflated sense of self. There's not like really a good sense of, these are all like negative terms.
Thank you, Nityananda Chandra Prabhu. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says that seeking recognition from others is like putting your face in excrements. Hare Krishna. A heavy quote, in case anybody needs a heavy quote. Right? Ram is so happy to be with you. Thank you for providing this environment to him in this tender age of childhood. Would anyone else like to speak? Ram, you want to speak?
Should we be seeking recognition from Krishna?
From whom, Maternath Prabhu?
From Krishna.
From Krishna. Should we be seeking recognition from him?
Prabhupada said that,
and more
we want
importantly, Srimati Radharani.
Yeah. Prabhupada said we want this certificate at the end of our life from Krishna, that this man has done something for me. We want that certificate. So yes.
Cool. And the application, what does it take? What should we put on the application? All the services we've done, all the qualifications. Will you sign my certificate?
Ram, don't cry. Ram, we hear you. We know you're there. Ram. Hare Krishna. Krishna's in your heart. We didn't forget you.
Adi
So
knows how
how,
to speak
what's
baby talk. Big baby head, that big bald baby head of Adi. He's returning to childhood again. Adi's voice also cracks when he's singing. You can hear it.
Yeah, the process works. We're all becoming childlike.
I
Few
have
words here.
something else. So how do we stop in appearing as something we're not? Because that's like our pride, our disease is to try to be something we're not. So who's got some good remedies to get out of this,
Get a
these
clue.
wearing these masks?
Shashikam before chanting.
Have a sense of humor.
Have a sense of humor.
Yeah, you have to
I
laugh
like
at
that.
yourself. We didn't create ourselves. What did our soul one day say, I am, and then smelted our bones and covered ourselves with muscles, sinews, and skin and slapped a brain in our cranium? We didn't have any role in anything. So, first of all, we can't pretend that we are anything except God's creation and that we came from Krishna and that he's the doer and that he's got a plan and that we better follow it. And, because it makes life a lot easier. So you just get a sense of humor, a sense of perspective from Krishna's point of view. Like Krishna is not, as Prabhu said, he's not impressed. Krishna is not impressed. He just wants us. He wants to have a good time. It's Krishna's pleasure means a good time. So if you get and part of that good time, if you ever notice, a lot of his pastimes, a lot of them are humorous, especially the way the gopis and the gopas took everything that was happening around them. It's all a great childlike dream of laughing and sporting and going and having wonderful pastimes and challenges and stuff like that. So you get that idea that that's what's being presented to us, especially in the Krishna book, and you actually accept that as that's what it's all about, is having a good time with Krishna. Then you get a good sense of humor about everything that's happening to you because you realize that everything that's happening to you is for a reason. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, I'm hearing Krishna is so playful, and so we can be playful. We're his children. Why are we not acting like children and playing? We're acting so damn serious, taking everything personally in this world. It's
Exactly.
happening to me instead of for me.
Yeah, I have an answer to that too, and that would be always trying to level up, always trying to improve in our Krishna consciousness. Are we like Gola Sridhar, where we can dedicate 50% of our earnings to Krishna? Are we, practicing, our sadhana bhakti, where we're waking up exactly, everything's ready to go at Brahma Muhurta with our chanting? Are we are we distributing? Are we setting a goal for distributing Srila Prabhupada's books and meeting it every week? So there's always room to improve. So I would say almost becoming obsessed with becoming a better devotee, and then looking up to the exalted devotees too, and that will definitely, to say, humble us and also, help us get rid of our anarthas along the way, and then we can really like look in the mirror and say, oh wow, I have this flaw, I need to either get rid of it or focus on my good qualities.
Thank you. Sadhvi Didi.
Hare Krishna, thank you very, very much for today. We talk about soul, who is pure and which is not destroyed, can be destroyed, can be killed, and so on and so on. What I wonder, the soul have intelligence also, right? Does soul have intelligence?
Trap question?
This is the first question, but there is a follow-up question, if I can please ask you to help me.
Satchit
Does
Ananda.
soul have
Eternal,
intelligence?
eternal, full of knowledge and bliss. Satchit Ananda.
Yes, the soul has knowledge, chit, sat, eternity, knowledge, and bliss. Satchitananda. Sadhvi, you're muted.
Oh, thank you. But then I wonder, how could the soul desire to come to this not reality, reality but not reality, to come here to experience, which sometimes some people experience do something very, very ugly, some people do nicely, and so on. How can a soul desire such thing with that intelligence, with that purity, still desire to come and to be a person who hurts others, who
Very good question.
do bad things?
Very good question.
And the other one, follow-up question to that is,
Wait, don't ask too
is
many
the
questions.
soul who's paying the karma, or
Yeah.
is I as a Sadhvi who paying the karma?
One question at a time to Adi.
One very simple. You're asking how can the soul take up inappropriate activity? Krishna, because he loves us, he gives us the free will. He doesn't force us to remain on the high platform. He gives us the free will to choose to reciprocate with his love. Krishna allows us the freedom, limited freedom, to stay with him or to turn against him. And in this discussion today about pride, there's a spectrum of motivation that we're free to choose. At one side of the spectrum is selfishness, and the other side of the spectrum is love. We're actually free to choose to be selfish and proud, or to be humble and love. Yogi Purushapuru's father, he said to him one time, which was really kind of interesting, he said, the first sign of intelligence is, what do you think?
Humility.
Humility. Very good. The first sign of intelligence is humility. So if we're actually intelligent, we'll understand that I have the freedom to choose, and by Krishna's grace, by good association, by hearing from authority, we can actually choose to be loving and giving rather than greedy and selfish. One other word and then I'll stop because I'm talking too long. One other word is transparency. You know that word, transparency?
Yeah, no privacy.
You're the mailman. Somebody sends somebody $1 million check and you deliver it to them. And they say, thank you, and they're kissing you, and you say, well, actually, I'm just delivering this.
Oh, really?
It's a T-lock.
You don't wear it.
Well,
Please forgive me. I didn't hear. I didn't
Eva, we
hear.
can hear you.
somebody else is talking. I'll stop.
No, go ahead. We muted.
No, please. I didn't hear. You say someone comes with the postman come with from
post-
where?
With the check, yes.
With the check, yes.
Using the word transparency, the
Yes.
postman delivers a check for $1 million to someone, and they're thanking the postman. So if we're the postman, we say, actually, I'm not the one who sent this. I'm delivering it. So when somebody is trying to give us credit and trying to praise us for something that we're doing in devotional service, we say, all glories to Prabhupada. I didn't know what to do. He asked me to do this. I didn't have the intelligence or the, he's the one who's sending this information. He's giving this gift. So when somebody is trying to praise you, instead of being proud and taking it for ourselves, we take it, but we don't keep it. We pass it on to Srila Prabhupada and Krishna. So if we're acting on love and we're transparent, then we don't become entangled in the ugliness and the downside of pride. Just like a spider. A spider makes a web and everybody can get stuck in it, but the spider runs all over the web without getting stuck, right? So we can be like that. I love this quote from the Buddhist tradition. It says, "The shadow of the Bodhi tree, as the sun goes across the sky, the shadow of the trunk of the Bodhi tree goes across the dusty courtyard, but it doesn't get dusty, right? It's going around like a sundial, and its shadow is going through the dust, but it's not getting dusty. So we can be transparent and loving by giving credit to Krishna and avoid getting entangled in sticky pride. Anyway, that's what I've heard. And Mathura asked such a nice question about how do you do this? How do you get this good quality? How do you get rid of the bad qualities? What does Scripture say? Yasyasti bhaktir bhagavat nikinchana. You engage in full devotional service with full faith in your guru, and all good qualities will become manifest. Devotional service is the life of the soul. And when we engage in devotional service with full faith in our spiritual master, all the good qualities appear and all the bad qualities go away. But we have to be careful because the material world is a dangerous place. We can get trapped and attached. And I'll give you one more analogy. At the circus, they have this painting of a fat lady or the painting of a muscle man. And then they have where the head of the painting is on this board, there's an opening. And you can put your face in there, right? And then it looks like you're the muscle man or you're the fat lady, right? So and if you're so foolish, you'll identify with that temporary designation. But it's not you. We are the soul. We are the servant of Krishna. We're not the fat lady or the muscle man. We are something beyond. Anyway, glories to Prabhupada. I'm sorry to talk so long. I hope that will help anybody who asked a question.
Thank you, Adipusha Prabhu.
Yes.
Sati Didi, are you satisfied
Thank you.
with the answer? Yeah, thank you. Maturnath Prabhu, are you happy with the answer?
Mama, mama.
Yeah, I would add that part of devotional service is to actually get in touch with ourself, though, is to be in tune with ourself. That's actually, I forget who was giving the class the other day, last week. He said this is the most important service,
Right.
to locate ourself, to be in tune with ourself. Though a lot of time we're thinking service is just I'm going to go do. I'm going to, and yes, we need to do for Krishna, but actually be. Who are we being
You,
while we're doing? And
you make
when we start with being
scriptural
the,
reference.
the
I'm going to
being.
what you're saying, what you say every day. In the 12-step meeting, Radhanath Swami appreciates that so much. You have to understand, I'm out of control, I need help, there's a power higher than me that can help me, I want to turn myself over to that higher power. Then the next step is to engage in a fearless moral inventory, to look at yourself very carefully and be very much aware of our shortcomings. So it's true. What you're saying is true. It is supported by Scripture and by that fantastic 12-step program is a very important step, not to be neglected. But just noting all the problems, Kalea Doshinade Rajan, Kali Yuga is an ocean of faults. Kirtanadeva Krishna Shya Mukti Sangha Parang Bhajet. It says simply by chanting the holy name, we can cross over this ocean. And simply by having full faith in Guru and being fully absorbed in devotional service, all the good qualities will develop. So we can be aware of the bad qualities and the shortcomings, and then what are we going to do about it? Engage fully in devotional service, chant the holy name, and everything that is troublesome to the heart will be destroyed by hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam. How wonderful is Krishna! Okay, I'm talking too much. I hope that will be.
A wonderful meditation, though, is who am I being while I do the devotional service? Because here's a really cool formula. It's most of us in the material world, we try to do, and then we try to have something, and then we try to be. Or we're thinking that's like mode of passion. Mode of ignorance is I just want to have this, and then I'll do, and then I'll be happy. But sattva mode of goodness is I'm going to be in this loving, pure, powerful state. And then I'm going to do from that place, and then I will have. This is a sattvic way of being. So the others are mode of passion, mode of ignorance. So this is, we look at how the modes are happening. This is, we have to see what mode am I functioning from, sattva, passion, or ignorance. This is Bhagavad Gita. Haribo.
And Krishna says to Arjuna, rise above the modes, Arjuna, be transcendental to all of them. Engage,
So to first start trying to be
engaging in
in
devotion.
sattva, though, and if we're in ignorance, we have to climb to passion, and if we're in passion, we have to climb to goodness, and then if we're in goodness, yes, then we can go to sudasattva. But
Who cares? Who cares where we're climbing to? We're being lifted. We're not climbing. We're being lifted. We're freaking dust specks. We're going nowhere. The thing is that who cares? If you're in the mode of passion, let's say you're an artist and you've got passion and you want to be like, get your stuff out there, then you lean into those paintings and you bring Krishna into it. If you're a writer and you want to write things and they've got to be adventure, then do that adventure for Krishna because you're passionate. And if you're ignorant, because you have to ignore what's going on in the world, and you have to ignore to get through the day the atrocities that are happening that will tear you apart from the inside out because no man's an island, then you have to ignore and you have to be in the mode of ignorance to get stuff done or do something about it. So we shouldn't be thinking about what mode I'm in. We should be thinking about the fact that these modes no longer matter when we are bringing Krishna into everything we do. I'm not disagreeing with you, Prabhu, but it's very important that we don't think that we're climbing up into goody-goodyville and somehow because we've qualified ourselves by being so good and so pure and goody two-shoes that Krishna's going to approve of us and be pleased. Because with that comes the thing that we were talking about in today's class, and it's called pride. And if you're thinking you're climbing through the modes, you got another thing coming because Krishna will come around and slap you right down into darkness if you think that you're trying to build a stairway to heaven. Hare Krishna.
we have to make effort, though. See, we can't spiritually bypass the. Prabhupada says that we take one step towards Krishna, and then Krishna takes 10 steps towards us. So we have to make our effort.
Let's ask Gaur Sharan. I didn't know he was even still on. Look at, I see in his face, he's going, these devotees going back and forth. Please,
Let's see what
please tell us, Gaur Sharan.
I need to
Tell us,
jump to something else. But how I see this classic conversation, like in general, I see this dialogue, especially growing in the devotee community. Like there seems to be like two schools. Like one school thinks about being more, and the other school thinks about doing more. There is actually not much. Actually, they are not speaking different things. It's a different perspective. And the old school also needs to actually understand people are more sensitive with different ages, and their experience and vantage point in life is different. So to tell in a very like animated way that nothing matters, or like these very strong statements, like very like blanket statements, it is no more very appealing, not because those devotees are not dependent on Krishna. They're also trying to work something and be very genuine, because the movement has seen hordes of hypocrites for years who just were doing, and they just created havoc for themselves, for others, and dragged the movement through mud, and dragged people's personal lives through complete trauma. So in that background, mid-aged like the newer generation is more concerned if you just want to be like doing too much, because the nature of ego is that in the course of doing, people tend to forget. So surely it's neither or, it's not either or, that you just be and you don't do, or you don't do or just You don't worry about anything what's going on and just do devotional service. That part is also not really very right. And I would beg Bhima Prabhu to come very strongly like that. Is not very appealing to a certain to the current generation, to be able to actually understand where the person is coming from, and to speak a language that they understand is very important. I speak Tamil. If I give a class in my language, you won't understand anything. So I may be speaking about Krishna, but I cannot speak in the language that you don't understand if I really want you to understand. So this is a very important part, that these days it's also very important that how we speak is equally important than what we speak. So surely the concept of it's not that we need ignorance to philosophically also it's not proper, it's not grounded what you said, especially your comment of ignorance being like who cares, like if you have to be ignorant about the material world in order to be focused on Krishna, that's not mode of ignorance. Mode of ignorance is not being uninformed. So
Prabhu, I'm sorry. I totally agree with you, and I stand corrected. That's great. I did get heated there. I was thinking about myself and things that disturb me about the world, and I remember a devotee saying, "Don't become Maya conscious. We will always have these wars. We will always have these atrocities." And I'm saying, so I have to, for now, ignore what's going on, or do something, or try to pitch in and do something about it. Maybe spread the
but that
word.
is not ignorance at all.
I know. I
Yeah.
misphrased. What I meant was turning our attention from and towards Krishna.
Yeah.
So that's what I meant, to ignore what was troubling, and going to Krishna with it.
Yeah.
That's what I meant.
Yeah, philosophically also that's where my main point. It is not philosophically also right, and it's a thing with the standard. It's the traditional ISKCON where that flavor is dying out for good in one sense. But we do need to like understand and accept or emulate the spirit that Adipurush Prabhu or Bhima Prabhu they all like live. The complete dedication to Krishna, the stability that has come by dedicating their lives to Krishna. That part is what everyone is aspiring for, and how each one practices in their life could be slightly different. However, there is also a very strong emphasis because of the past of the movement and the mood of the world, that people are concerned like if bhakti is just me going out and distributing books, which is perfect. However, they have seen so many proud book distributors. So it just creates, it's not that they are questioning book distribution if it is devotion service or not. What they are not very impressed is despite doing so much, why these people's heart has not changed. Because again, it's not a mechanical thing. Just doing is not a mechanical thing. So it's a combination. If I just sit in the corner and just chant, if I won't do anything, will I actually be growing in bhakti? Uh, Haridas Thakur did that also to majority extent, but we are not qualified. That's what Prabhupada said. You assume you work sadhana in the morning is to actually inculcate this idea that we are not supposed to be proud. I'm supposed to be grateful. I'm part of Kana. I'm an instrument of Krishna. The whole sadhana is to actually being, and then from that place you go out and do. It's not a matter of being in sattva or not, because sadhana is transcendental, but the individuals are can be in mode of goodness, passion, ignorance. Because Kapil Dev speaks about three: and bhakti in the mode of ignorance, bhakti in the mode of passion, bhakti in the mode of sattva. Not because bhakti is in any of those modes. Bhakti is transcendental, but the performer of bhakti could be sattvic, rajasic, and tamasic, to humbly acknowledge that despite me doing externally devotional things, I am still under the influence of the modes. So let me take stock, perform sadhana so that I can be actually situated in a sattvic temperament and absorbed in Krishna, because we don't just get situated in Shuddha Sattva overnight. We stay in Sattva rooted, and then we take off every day. We through our sadhana, we take off through our remembrance of Krishna. We take off. We try to take off throughout our lives. Gradually, more and more, Krishna's mercy potency enters our life. Not by our sadhana we will ever become great, or that's not the purpose itself either. We will never become Shuddha Sattva by our own sadhana, by our own endeavor. The mercy potency has to enter. So this month is Kartik. There are two fingers. Our endeavor, our sadhana is being, doing external services and internal introspection. And the other part is we are beggars. We beg for mercy. And when Krishna is touched by our attitude and in what mood we render, when that mercy actually enters our life, then it changes the quality of our life. So both are, there is no, there is a Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya split into two because of this confusion. There are two schools of Sri Vaishnavism just because of this one concept, that is it because of Krishna's mercy will I be delivered, or will I be delivered by my sadhana? The two sections fought, and over that they have separated. But here in Bhakti, the whole month we are celebrating that they both need to come together, that you need both endeavor and mercy. It seems like a very simple concept in Gaudiya Vaishnavism, that we have it, but a whole sampradaya is divided into two different schools because one emphasizes mercy, the other, and thinks that you don't need to do anything at all. You don't need to be anyone because Krishna's mercy will save you. The other school says no, Krishna has given instructions in the scriptures, you have to practice it, and only by practice it you will be qualified. So then the other school comes, mercy comes without seeing qualification. So again, Prabhupada very beautifully reconciled all these things and has given us a very unified approach. So when we present also, we should present it in a more wholesome way, understanding where the person is coming from, because there is no point in convincing anyone and losing the person. Each person has a perspective. So the ages are changing, the times are changing, the moods are different, and people are wanting more affection and acknowledgement of their issues. They're not here because they don't know philosophy. They're also looking for support. They're also looking for practical ways to actually implement it in their lives. And in my opinion, for pride, the most grounded way is being very grateful as a sadhana, very consciously developing that gratitude as part of sadhana in the morning as well as throughout the day, reminding oneself, as Adi Prabhu says, Krishna is very wonderful, to continuously remember that regularly, and also be very grateful to the devotees who are giving this opportunity. So that gratitude is the most practical way. If anybody wants to be sure that I should not be proud, then get your quotes, get your reminders throughout the day, that how I'm not the doer. Krishna is the ultimate doer. It's the mercy of my spiritual master. It's the association of devotees. So many thousands and thousands of people have worked hard for me to m- have this privilege that I'm having today to be able to practice. And of course, who can forget Prabhupada if he had not made the journey? So I mean, just developing gratitude softens heart and like lessens passion, and powers one, completely powers one to do more, because now I'm grateful. I really want to do something to uh, serve the people who have done so much to me. So in general life also, if we constantly meditate on being grateful to the family members, then because I speak to my father and I really get disturbed because my father can say things which can really immediately disturb me, and I have to, before taking a call with my father, I have to constantly remind myself, be very grateful. If not for this individual, you will not be whoever you are today, what they have done, like how Anand Bihari Prabhu is caring for Ram. So I had to remind myself, I have to be very grateful and tell myself, don't just lose it because he is saying something which is not matching your thing. And when I'm kind, when I speak to him kindly from that place of gratitude, he starts to understand that despite him saying things, I am not disturbed. So he starts to understand and he changes. Means I remotely manage my family affairs from the US. So gratitude is one thing which has really helped me even in my family relationships. I've had such broken relationship with my family for so many years, and it's healing just because of developing gratitude. So not just for devotional life, everything is a part of our devotional life. So we cannot just be ungrateful people in our personal life, in our professional life. As a person, we change as a person with a grateful heart, and that will reduce our pride. And this my answer, Mathuranath Prabhu, for that practical side of it. If you're looking for, I would say, to the extent you develop gratitude in all spheres of life, will be more and more uh, also like reap the benefits of external activities we are doing.
Yeah, thank you, and I appreciate because you're confirming, and it's very confirming and bringing peace in my heart. You're talking about being. You're starting with being instead of I'm just going to go out and do, and I'm in a whole bunch of turmoil and maybe pain and whatever it may be, it's going on in my heart, in my mind, my psychology, but I'm just going to go out and do. And I did that. I followed that formula for, I would say, 25 years in Krishna consciousness, until I recently started saying, not that I don't do, not that I just go, all I'm going to do is about being. No, but who am I being? And in with all vulnerability, I've been in a lot of pain. I've been and trying to function in relationships in Krishna, that are part of Krishna consciousness while being in pain, and then the relationships are don't go well, and trying to do service while in pain, and I'm not fully present and able to show up in with my 100% because that pain comes through, and whatever pain and wounds haven't been dealt with, Krishna's going, all right, when are you going to deal with this stuff? This is something you need to deal with before, of course, Krishna's mercy comes through, yes, Krishna, but it's also when we do our introspection, when we do our part and go, Krishna, okay, I need help with this. This part of our sadhana, like Krishna, I'm seeing this this hurt, this anger, this greed in me. All right, let's work. Can we work through this? So it's not that we do it on our own, we do it with Krishna. And I see this has been a massive thing that's been overlooked in ISKCON, and huge spiritual bypassing. And I see a lot of devotees are they're in ignorance because of it. So thank you. I really appreciate the points you made. They're just very beautiful and very comforting, actually.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. I had my hand up. I'm going to chime in. Lots of love, devotion, and respect to all of you. Gaur Sharan Das, thank you so much for your words of wisdom and your class and your seva. Full of gratitude. Wanted to share my love, devotion, and respect for every single other devotee on the class as well. Just wanted to share a few words. Ananda Bihari, you are my hero. Haribol. Just wanted to share a few words with me. My motto, my slogan, the words I've been living by for last many years is I know nothing. I know nothing. I'm here to learn. When I operate from that mindset, it seems to control the pride and ego. Even though I may think I know a lot, even though I may think Krishna is in my heart, like me and him are best friends. I know nothing. I'm at his mercy. Yesterday I was doing the Devo or candle. I'm literally begging to him to help me, even though I feel like, me and him are very close, but I'm still begging him. Nothing happens without his mercy. Nothing, 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 nothing. I remind myself every single day. And so that's what I do in terms of I know nothing. I'm here to learn from all of you guys. And if I operate from that mindset, I think I'll be okay. And then the second thing I do is operate from the heart. If we truly, truly, truly believe Krishna is in the heart, I stay away from the mind. The mind is greedy. No matter what, I know the Gita said, yes, mind is Krishna too, but they say, do what Ram does, but do what Ram does, but do what Krishna says. Because Krishna is at a whole different level. He can do certain things we can never even imagine. Ram, what he does is what we should do. But anyways, this is kind of I operate from the heart, but he's in the heart. If we operate from love, that pride and ego can stay aside. That's what I try to do. And the other thing I was doing lately as I've been. And by the way, I don't know if Anumpama Prabhu's on the class. Phenomenal class yesterday. I was able to catch up on it, so I want to thank him for it. We'll send him some flowers from the heart right now. And then also the last thing I wanted to share is over the last few weeks or week and a half, as I every day I'm watering the Tulsi Devi plant and praying to the Tulsi Devi plant for myself, my wife, my daughter, and those important to me, and asking for all of the other devotees good health and so forth. But I was putting a more stronger emphasis on Sadhvi Didi and Mathurna Das for some reason. I don't know why. And I think if we and I pray for all of you guys as I pray to Tulsi Devi as well. So when we operate from praying for others and you know, regardless of where we come from, I think magic happens. So I wanted to share that. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Thank you, Sarah Prabhu. Thank you, Gaur Sharan Prabhu, for reconciling our afterglow so nicely. Everybody is satisfied and happy and uplifted by your class and the way you settled the afterglow. With this, we'd like to request Narottam Nitai Prabhu to unmute himself and recite the Maha Mantra. Narottam Nitai Prabhu, please.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Sweet. Thank you. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful Friday. Give it to Krishna. Keep your vows going. And come again tomorrow. Hare Krishna.